The review of seller documents contingency is an important step in the transaction process, so let's talk about it. My name is Antho Zueck, Mr. Hyperlocal, broker associate with Bullock Real Estate Services. After acceptance, the seller must deliver specific documents to the buyer for review. These documents are given to communicate additional information about the property that the buyer needs to know to determine if they want to proceed with the purchase. Let's go through the full list of documents now. First is the Natural Hazards Disclosure Report. The NHD is prepared by an outside company and tells the buyer if the home is in a fire zone, earthquake fault zone, flood zone, etc. It also tells if the home is nearby to a former military base, former mine, farmland, and so much more. The Transfer Disclosure Statement is prepared by the seller and lists all items and features that will come with the home: microwave, security system, etc. The seller also discloses the existence of easements, modifications made with permits, CC&Rs, and more. This disclosure is required by California state law. Next is the Seller Property Questionnaire, also prepared by the seller. This form includes more detail on the issues mentioned in the TDS. It is a clarifying disclosure that is required in the standard purchase agreement anytime a TDS is required. The final necessary document is the Preliminary Title Report. This report gives an overview of what's on title for the property, but may not include everything. It's mostly used to provide the buyer a price for title insurance. Besides the documents already mentioned, a transaction may also include the following disclosures. If the home has any leased or liened items, the seller will need to provide the buyer with copies of all contracts and documentation. Items that are commonly leased may include solar panels, water filtration systems, and home security. If the home is a condo or in an HOA, the seller will provide HOA rules and regulations, copies of the most recent 12 months of meeting minutes, contact information for all governing HOAs, and disclose whether there is any pending litigation against the HOA. If the home has solar panels, then the seller is required to share the Solar Advisory and Questionnaire, which facilitates the seller sharing information about the buyer about the solar system. If the home is located in a high fire zone, then the seller will need to complete the fire hardening and defensible space disclosure and addendum, which discloses whether any features of the home make it vulnerable to wildfires. They'll also need to provide a government inspection stating the home meets defensible space requirements if required by law. All homes built prior to 1978 are required to complete a lead-based paint disclosure sharing whatever information the seller knows regarding the potential existence and or remediation of lead-based paint on the property. And lastly, if the buyer or seller is a legal entity, such as a corporation, LLC, etc., then they will provide to the other party evidence that the individual is able to act on behalf of the entity to complete the transaction. If a buyer finds any information they do not like in the seller documents, then they are allowed to cancel the agreement. And that is all you need to know about this important step. If you have any questions on the review of seller documents contingency or any other topic, you're welcome to contact me directly. I'd be happy to chat with you. My name is Antho Zueck, Mr. Hyperlocal, broker associate with Bullock Real Estate Services. If you learned something here, please give the video a like, and thank you for watching.